Imagine sprinting past a defender, the crowd rising with you, and then, in the blink it takes to blink, the game stops and your entire life rearranges. That's the weird, brutal shortcut from what if to what now that Tyreek Hill is living through right now. 1 second he's the fastest name on a roster, a highlight reel staple, and the next, he's under lights for a different kind of scan, hearing doctors and rehab plans instead of play calls. The image of him being helped off after that Week 4 sideline tackle, the smile that leaked into headlines, felt like a riddle. What do you do when the thing you love looks like it might cost you everything? FoxSports970am.iheart.com. Act 1. The Snap. You've watched Tyreek for a decade. The suddenness, the seam-splitting routes, the way he turns a routine catch into an optical illusion of separation. But football is a fragile theater. Against the Jets, a tackle bent his knee in a way that made grown men wince. The tests came back worse than a simple sprain, multiple torn ligaments and a torn ACL, and surgery followed. In an instant, the calendar flipped from game planning to recovery timelines, from schematic adjustments to therapy regimens. This isn't a hiccup, it's a structural thing that will demand patience, operations, and an enormous amount of work to walk back from. FoxSports970am.iheart.com. Act 2. The hangover and the options. Here's where the story thickens, the human part the headlines sometimes miss. After surgery came the quiet parts, nights of swelling, the first tentative steps in a sterile gym, the moments when you realize rehab is mostly boring repetition and tiny victories. Tyreek has been candid, not dramatic, just honest. I'm happy with the career that I've had, he told a podcast, and then added the sentence that made everyone lean in. Maybe it's time to talk to family about what comes next. Retirement isn't an on-off switch for someone who built a life around being explosive. It's a conversation with the people who matter and with your own body. He's weighing where his mindset is, and that kind of honesty is unnerving and brave in equal measure. NFL.com. But while all that internal work was happening, something else popped up that felt almost coy. Tyreek started teasing a different identity, one where the beat matters as much as the blitz. Reports surfaced that he's been spending time learning the decks, joking about DJ gigs, and even confirming a DJ interest online. It reads like the modern athlete's survival kit. When the field is temporarily gone, create other stages. Some scoffed, it's a distraction, they said. Others nodded, of course he's exploring music. The point isn't whether it's a serious career pivot or a fun hobby. The point is that he's deciding what the rest of his life might look like while he waits to find out if his body will let him play again. BleacherReport.com. Act 3. The Reckoning. So where does a player go from here? There are 3 true paths, and none are neat. 1. The full heroic return. Months of graft, tendon reconnection, and then the old chemistry clicks back. He signs back, the playbook breathes, and the crowd roars. 2. A slower fade. He returns, but the speed is different, the micro angles altered, and he has to reforge his game into something less explosive, but still valuable. 3. He closes the book and moves on, choosing family and new careers over chasing one more highlight. All are honest outcomes, none are easy. FoxSports970am.iheart.com. There's a financial and emotional scaffolding layered beneath those choices. Tyreek's made big money in the league. He has earned security that lets him consider non-football futures without immediate desperation. But money doesn't solve the itch to compete. Retirement debates are never purely economic. They are identity tests. When a man is defined by motion and crowds and the sound of a stadium, it's harder than it looks to step away. And yet stepping away can be a kind of victory, too. Control the narrative, choose your day, spend time with family, preserve the parts of you that matter most when your knees stop letting you fly. NFL.com, the DJ stuff, let's be honest, it's not random. Music and sport are cousins. Timing, rhythm, feel. He's not abandoning the cultural currency of being Tyreek. He's rechanneling it. Practicing a set, learning how to cue, feeling the room, that's practice too. It's a way to rehearse joy. And if the rehabilitation process is a slow grind, having something creative to fill the days is both medicine and PR. Fans will joke about wedding bookings and bar mitzvahs. The real takeaway is that he's not letting a season-ending injury define his entire story. He's exploring the parts of himself that aren't tied to a stat sheet. BleacherReport.com. BleacherReport.com. The moment of truth. In the end, There's a particular loneliness to this decision bracket that few of us will fully grasp. He has to talk to his mother, to the people who have known him since he was small. He has to measure joy against risk, identity against longevity. That's real work. It's not made for headlines. It's the private calculus of a man who has everything to gain and everything to lose. The league will wait, the Dolphins will manage the roster, and the world will debate whether a DJ booth is a retreat or a rebirth. Meanwhile, Tyreek sits in a rehab room, headphones on, maybe practicing a mix, maybe imagining a route tree. Both are ways of staying alive. NFL.com, what I want you to carry from this is simple. Athletes are stories in motion, and injuries force a pause that most of us never meet. How Tyreek answers this pause will tell us more about him than any touchdown ever did. Maybe he comes back and those highlight reels resume. Maybe he spins records and builds a second act. Maybe he does both. The truth is messy and beautiful because it's human. He is allowed to be proud, scared, ambitious, and indecisive at once. That is not weakness. It is honesty. NFL.com final image. Picture Tyreek at night in a dim room, knee iced on a stool, the glow of a laptop, a controller in one hand, and family photos in the other. He smiles, not because the answer is simple, but because he's choosing how to spend the next chapter. Whatever comes, it'll be Tyreek-shaped, fast, bold, and impossible to ignore. If he walks away on his terms. If he comes back because he wants to. Either way, the field will remember him, and so will the music. 4 games in, and suddenly your whole future feels like a choice. Tyreek Hill's season ended in a single painful twist that felt like the NFL's cruelest kind of punctuation. A routine catch, a tangle near the sideline, and then an air cast, a stretcher, and the clinical language every fan dreads. Tests confirmed the worst, a dislocated knee with multiple torn ligaments, including an ACL, and surgery followed. The Dolphins listed him as out for the season. The image of Hill being helped off in front of a stunned Hard Rock Stadium is the kind of highlight that keeps replay editors and podcasts busy for weeks. ESPN.com. But this story didn't end in a locker room. In the quiet that follows emergency surgery, Hill has been honest in a way that makes uncomfortable headlines. He hasn't decided whether he'll play again. He told reporters he'll have a conversation with mom, family, everybody, and that the decision about his future will hinge on how he feels mentally and physically, not some external deadline. That candor is rare in the league's usual PR choreography. It reads like a man weighing legacy against long-term health. AP News. And then the internet did what it always does. It turned the pause into a pivot. Over the last 48 hours, multiple outlets reported that Hill has quietly launched a side hustle while rehabbing. He's been spotted exploring DJ work and even teased a new DJ persona on social media, joking, coming to play house music near you. Local nightlife chatter turned into national headlines as publications picked up the thread. The injured superstar spinning records while his knee heals. Whether this is a full-blown career change, a hobby, or a rehab-era distraction, it's now part of the narrative that will follow him back to the field or beyond it. PFSN. Let's put the human reality next to the clickbait. A torn ACL and multiple ligament damage are not just surgery and a practice report. They involve months of painstaking rebuilding, swelling control, graft healing, gradual loading, neuromuscular retraining, and tens of thousands of reps before even thinking about contact. That pathway can be humbling. For an elite athlete whose identity has long been tied to speed, explosion, and the ability to outrun defenders like he has a cheat code, the psychological work is as heavy as the physical. Hill saying he's happy with the career that I've had is the kind of line that carries 2 directions, gratitude for what's been and an honesty about what might be next. Sky Sports Now, the locker room and league stakes. Tyreek Hill is more than a receiver with a highlight reel. He's a brand, a market mover, and a contract on the books with 1 season left. The Dolphins and their medical staff have to balance short-term optics with long-term reality. Rushing rehab for a playoff push could sabotage a career. Sitting and rebuilding carefully could cost a team an edge this year. For Hill personally, that calculus includes family, finances, and a legacy. Do you chase one more Super Bowl window and risk long-term mobility, or do you step away on your own terms